Hey everyone! I'd love to hear from you. What tool review would you like me to create an in-depth analysis video on? Drop your suggestions in the comments below, and I will get started on making the most requested one. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, as I upload trending tool insights.
Feeling like your days are just completely swamped with endless tasks. Wishing you had, I don't know, an extra brain just to handle all the busy work so you could focus.
Yeah, I think we all feel that sometimes.
Well, okay, let's unpack this, because today we're doing a deep dive into something that really promises to be just that. Microsoft Copilot, looking specifically at where it is in 2025.
Right, and we've got this really comprehensive review to guide us.
Exactly. So our mission, if you like, is to pull out the most important stuff about Copilot.
What it can really do, how it might actually change the way you work.
Yeah, its capabilities, the pros, the cons, and crucially, how it stacks up against the other big AI players, like ChatGPT and Gemini.
Right. The goal here is to give you a really clear picture, help you figure out if Copilot could genuinely be valuable for your productivity.
And yeah, our main source is this detailed review. It's got feature descriptions, personal experiences, those comparisons we mentioned. It's pretty thorough.
It is.
So maybe starting basic for anyone who's maybe not deep in the AI weeds yet. What is Microsoft Copilot fundamentally?
Okay, so think of it as your intelligent assistant, but it's embedded right inside the Microsoft 365 apps.
Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. The usual suspects.
Exactly. The ones you probably use every single day. Its whole purpose is basically to boost your productivity by acting as this sort of virtual sidekick. You interact with it using just, normal language, natural conversation.
Ah, okay. So instead of hunting through menus, you just ask it.
Pretty much, yeah. And what it can do is, well, it's quite broad.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Sure. Summarizing long documents, generating text for emails or reports. It can even help create presentations.
Presentations too, okay.
Yep. And coding help, Python, JavaScript, C#, data analysis, finding patterns in your spreadsheets, automating repetitive stuff.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, like email replies or scheduling. It gives you suggestions based on context and just generally helps optimize how you work.
That really does sound like a productivity powerhouse.
Yeah.
What's the tech behind it? What makes it tick?
Under the hood, it's running on OpenAI's AI models. Very advanced stuff.
Like GPT.
Right. Specifically GPT-4 Turbo for most of the text-based tasks. And for images, it uses DALL-E, so really cutting-edge AI.
Okay, so it has the smarts, but, does it actually deliver in the real world? Does it make a difference?
Yeah.
I'm always a bit skeptical until I see the proof.
That's fair. And it's a super important question. The review we looked at had this interesting did you know fact from Microsoft's own research.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
They found employees at one company, a consumer goods firm, cut down their email reading time by 31% using Copilot.
31%, wow.
Yeah, which worked out to about 50 minutes saved per person per week.
50 minutes, just from email.
Just from email. Think about that. Almost an extra hour every week. What could you do with that time?
Right. More focus, less rushing around. That alone sounds pretty compelling. Okay, let's dig into those features more. The review had that table right. Specs, description, experience.
Yes, and seeing how the tech translates is key. The reviewer said using GPT-4 Turbo for summaries and DALL-E for visuals just felt effortless.
Effortless, huh?
Yeah, and the integration being inside Word or Outlook meant it wasn't some separate tool you had to switch to. It was just there, part of the flow.
Makes sense. What about coding? You mentioned Python.
Yes, the reviewer talked about getting quick Python snippets for small automation jobs, and it supports JavaScript and C# too.
So useful even if you're not a full-time developer, maybe.
Potentially, yeah. For simple scripts or just getting started on something.
And those monster reports we sometimes get, can it really summarize those effectively?
Seems like it. The review specifically said the document summarization engine saved hours, condensed huge text into key points super fast.
Okay, that sounds incredibly valuable. Time saver. And Excel. Data analysis scares a lot of people, me included sometimes.
Right. Well, the data insights module sounds like a big help there. The reviewer created useful reports without writing complex formulas.
Really? How?
Copilot apparently suggests formulas, finds trends, makes charts. It sort of makes data analysis more accessible, like having a data analyst built in.
Huh. Interesting. What about the daily grind? Emails, scheduling?
Yep, there's an automation framework for that. The reviewer mentioned offloading repetitive emails, calendar invites, frees up mental space.
And it gets better over time, learns your habits.
That's the idea behind the personalization layer, yeah.
Yeah.
It learns how you work and gives better recommendations as you use it more.
And this Copilot Plus thing, what's that about? Faster responses?
Essentially, yes. It means some AI processing happens right on your device if you have the right hardware. The reviewer saw near instant responses on a compatible laptop, so potentially a speed boost.
Gotcha. Okay, last one on features, but maybe the most important, security, especially for work stuff.
Absolutely critical. The review stressed the enterprise-grade security, things like encryption, tenant isolation, meaning your company's data is kept separate,
Okay, that's good.
and compliance with GDPR, HIPAA. The reviewer felt confident using it even on sensitive documents. That says a lot.
It does. Okay, so the features sound pretty powerful based on that experience, but nothing's perfect. Let's talk pros and cons.
Right. Need that balanced view. On the plus side, the big one is automating those repetitive tasks, saving time. Remember that 70% productivity boost some users reported.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's also easy to use that natural language interface. Seamless integration in Microsoft 365. Smart recommendations. And it learns.
Those are strong points. Definitely. What about the downsides then?
Well, cost is one. The Pro plan is $20 a month per user. That might not fit every budget.
Okay. Anything else?
The reviewer noted some advanced features have a learning curve. It's not all instant magic.
Takes some effort to master.
Right. And it might lack deep customization for really specific needs. Plus, you need a decent internet connection.
Good points. Okay, so for someone maybe less technical,
Yeah.
how does Copilot actually do all this? How does it work?
Sure. So imagine you just talk to it, right? Give it a command in plain English.
Okay.
Copilot takes that, uses its AI brain, those OpenAI models, to figure out what you want.
Understands the request.
Exactly.
Right.
Then it performs the task writing text, summarizing, analyzing data, whatever, right there in the app you're using. And behind the scenes, machine learning is watching how you use it to get smarter and more helpful over time.
Got it. That clarifies things. Now, where can people actually find Copilot in 2025? It sounds like it's popping up everywhere.
It really is quite widespread. You've got desktop apps, mobile apps, Mac, Windows, Android, iOS.
Standard stuff?
Yep. Then it's in the Edge browser sidebar, useful for web pages. Bing Chat uses it for smarter search answers.
Makes sense.
And of course, it's built right into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. Teams integration is big too, meeting summaries, action items.
Wow, Teams as well.
The review even mentions some social apps like Telegram and WhatsApp having integration. And there's a web portal too. So yeah, lots of access points.
Definitely sounds accessible.
Oh.
Okay, the big showdown. Copilot versus ChatGPT versus Gemini in 2025. The review compared them head-to-head, right?
It did, and it highlights how they each have different strengths. Let's take integration.
Yeah.
Copilot wins. If you're deep in Microsoft 365, it's woven right in. ChatGPT is more standalone, though it has plugins. Gemini integrates with Google Workspace.
Right, depends on your ecosystem. What about speed? Who's fastest?
Copilot felt fast in the apps, especially with Copilot plus Lightning. ChatGPT using GPT-4 Turbo is generally fast, but maybe some occasional waits. Gemini 1.5 Pro is also considered quick. Pretty comparable overall, perhaps.
Maybe slight edge to Copilot in its native apps then. How about accuracy? Can you trust them?
Copilot rated high for document and Excel tasks. ChatGPT shines for creative stuff and logic. Gemini is strong on facts, especially using the web.
So different types of accuracy almost.
Kind of, yeah. Depends what you need it for.
And the big one, data privacy. How do they stack up?
This is a key difference. Copilot, within a company's Microsoft 365 setup, offers that enterprise-level privacy. Your data stays put.
Okay.
ChatGPT might use your data for training unless you opt out. Gemini follows Google's policy, so you really need to understand where your data goes.
Definitely something for businesses and individuals to weigh carefully. So who is each tool best for then?
Copilot seems ideal for business productivity within the Microsoft world. ChatGPT for creative tasks, coding help, brainstorming. Gemini for research fact-checking, especially if you're a heavy Google user.
Makes sense. What about generating images?
Copilot uses DALL-E via Microsoft Designer. ChatGPT also uses DALL-E 3 plus an editor. Gemini uses Imagen 2, known for realism.
Different engines, slightly different outputs, probably.
Probably. And finally, the standout feature for each.
Yeah, the killer app.
For Copilot, it's that in-app real-time assistance right where you're working. For ChatGPT, it's memory, custom GPTs, the whole plugin thing. For Gemini, it's pulling in live web data and the Google Workspace synergy.
That's a fantastic breakdown. Very clear distinctions. Now, the review tested them on a real-world task, right? Planning a trip.
Yeah, planning a family trip to Orlando was interesting.
How do they do?
Copilot was fast, gave a decent list of attractions, but lacked personalization. You know, Icon Park, Magic Kingdom, Kennedy Space Center, standard stuff.
Okay, efficient but basic.
Right. ChatGPT gave the most detailed plan. Structured itinerary, dining tips, budgeting advice, packing lists. Really comprehensive.
Wow, quite thorough.
And Gemini gave good general advice, best times to visit, where to stay, nearby attractions like Crayola Experience, but less customized than ChatGPT.
So Copilot, fast overview. Gemini, good general advice. ChatGPT, detailed personalized plan. Interesting.
It shows their different strengths in practice.
Definitely. Okay, let's circle back to Copilot within Microsoft 365. Can you give some really concrete examples of how people might use it day to day?
Absolutely. So in Word, you could ask it to draft a report outline or rewrite a paragraph to be more concise, or, as we said, summarize the whole thing.
Saves a ton of writing time.
Exactly. In Excel, maybe ask it, what are the key trends in the sales data? Or create a chart showing month-over-month growth. No formulas needed from you.
That's powerful for non-Excel experts.
Huge. In PowerPoint, suggest some design ideas for this slide, or help me write bullet points about our Q3 results, or improve the layout here.
Presentation prep made easier.
Yep. In Outlook, draft a reply to this client confirming the meeting, or summarize my unread emails from this morning, or help me find time for a Teams sync next week.
Inbox 0, here we come. Maybe.
Maybe. And coding help, as mentioned. Even in Teams, summarize this chat discussion, or what were the action items from the last meeting, streamlining collaboration.
Those are all super practical, things people do constantly. Now, you mentioned asking it things. Getting good results from AI often means asking the right way. Any tips on writing effective prompts for Copilot?
Yeah. The review really stressed being specific and clear. Give it context.
Can you give an example?
Sure. The review used drafting an email about a project delay. A vague prompt like, write an email about a delay, gave a very generic, maybe even cold response.
Okay.
But a specific prompt like, draft a polite professional email to the client apologizing for the project delay, explain it's due to brief reason, propose a revised completion date of new date, and offer a quick call to discuss. That gave a much better, more suitable email.
So the details matter a lot.
They really do. Garbage in, garbage out still applies, even with smart AI.
Makes sense. I know there's also a voice command feature. How does that work? Is it useful?
It seems pretty straightforward. Uses speech to text. You click a mic icon in the 365 app, say your command like, summarize this slide or draft an email reply.
And it just does it.
Converts your speech to text, feeds it to Copilot, and executes the command. It's another way to interact. Maybe handy if your hands are busy typing or, holding a coffee.
Convenient option. We kept talking about time savings. The review had a specific case study on that, didn't it?
It did, from NTT Data. Really striking. One employee used Copilot for just 12 tasks over 5 days. Things like summarizing, data analysis.
And the result?
They saved 6.5 hours in 5 days.
Wow, that's almost a full workday back.
Exactly. It really highlights how it can shift work away from the repetitive stuff towards more strategic thinking, a tangible impact.
Incredible. Okay, let's talk money. What's the cost? Is it expensive?
There are two main options. There's a free plan, basic access, some AI generation, limited image tools. Good for trying it out or light use.
Okay, free entry point.
Then there's Copilot Pro, that's $20 per user per month.
And what does that get you?
Priority access to the best AI model, GPT-4 Turbo, more image creation boosts, access across all the M365 apps, advanced features, early access to new stuff, and there's usually a free trial month.
So free to dabble, paid for the full power and integration.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now, the trustworthiness question, security, privacy, can we really rely on it, especially with company data?
It's a huge concern, and Microsoft seems very focused on it, according to the review. It operates within your secure Microsoft 365 tenant.
Meaning the data stays inside your company's walls, digitally speaking.
That's the idea. Your data isn't used to train the public AI models. It's protected, encrypted, compliant with things like GDPR.
Okay, that's reassuring.
But the review also rightly points out that accuracy isn't perfect. Human judgment is still needed. Microsoft talks about responsible AI and transparency.
So it's secure, but you still need to check its work.
Essentially, yes. And crucially, the review confirms it doesn't train itself on your private inputs. Your data stays within your M365 environment.
Good to know. So looking ahead, what's next? Any cool future updates coming in 2025?
Oh yeah, lots on the roadmap. Enhanced Copilot Studio for building custom AIs. More developer connectors, like over 1,400 to bring in external data.
More integration possibilities.
Right. Role-based copilots, like a researcher or analyst agent for complex tasks. Copilot labs with things like image analysis, vision, and deep research becoming widely available.
Sounds advanced.
And Copilot memory, so it remembers your context and preferences better. Copilot pages for organizing project info. And maybe even customizable avatars, like a new Clippy.
Clippy's back. Okay, maybe not exactly, but that's intriguing.
Definitely some interesting developments coming.
The review also quickly mentioned some other related AI tools. Anything noteworthy there?
Just briefly, things like Argyle AI for video, Kieva for keywords, Blackbox AI for coding, Firebase Studio for backend stuff, Goth AI for authentication. Just shows how AI is spreading everywhere.
True. And lastly, any key FAQs the review addressed?
Mostly things we've touched on, how it compares to ChatGPT, the free access question, how good it is for coding, and if it works with non-Microsoft apps, which it does to some extent, like with those social apps.
Got it. Okay, so wrapping this all up, after this deep dive, what's the main takeaway on Microsoft Copilot in 2025?
I think the key message is that it's a seriously powerful tool, especially if you live inside the Microsoft 365 world. It has real potential to significantly boost productivity.
By automating tasks, leaving insights, helping create content.
Exactly. All those things. But
there's always a but.
Well, it's not a magic bullet for everyone, right?
Yeah.
You have to weigh the pros and cons we discussed. Consider the cost. Be prepared for a bit of a learning curve for the advanced stuff.
So its value really depends on your specific situation and how you adapt to using it.
Precisely. It depends on your needs, your budget, your workflow.
So a final thought for you listening. Take a moment and think. What specific tasks, day in, day out, feel like they just drain your time and energy? The tedious stuff, the repetitive stuff. Could an AI assistant like Copilot genuinely transform how you handle those, free you up for more important work? And looking ahead, with these future updates we talked about, memory, role-based agents, maybe even avatars, how might these tools completely reshape our work lives in the coming years?
It's definitely something to ponder.
Maybe it's worth exploring that free trial or digging into how it could apply specifically to your role, your industry. The potential seems pretty vast.